And just like that. What episode we on, Law? Let them know.
Oh, episode 20, I believe. Come on with it. Episode 20.
The Cowboys Collective is back. We got John Machota bringing the heat. But before we do, I got to tell you guys, buckle up, get some popcorn, because I got a feeling. Yeah, this is going to be one of them shows. How's everybody doing, fellas?
I'm doing great, Foots. I'm doing great, man.
Law Nation, John Machota, everybody doing good?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, doing great.
I want to say this. Before we take a step further, how about 72 people this early, AOC? That's all right, man.
I know, and amongst those 72, we got Big Stars 31 already expecting us to give a damn about these agents. We don't care. That's the time that I'm on today. I want y'all to know.
You want smoke?
Hey, you want smoke? All of the smoke. That's crazy. Yeah, come on.
I got to tell you guys. But in all seriousness, guys, you guys don't know how blessed you are to be able to talk to John. We are, all of us, this whole family, to be able to get it straight from, John's there. He's talking and rubbing hands with Jerry Jones, and he's talking to him about agents and rubbing hands. I don't know if he's rubbing hands. I hope John ain't rubbing hands.
Don't put them sins on John. Don't put them sins on John.
I know he. Listen, you know what's so interesting, right? If you guys aren't tapped in, I know I'm burying this lead, right? But if you aren't tapped in, all the clips that y'all see, they come straight from this man on the screen. So, exactly. and people take them, twist them, use them on ESPN, use them on all these publications. It's just like you can get the source if you come to the Cowboys Collective. So,
come on with it.
And John don't think what's the source?
The source. And like he said, listen, we might fight on here, but we're gonna fight for John. Don't be switching his words up. John, give us what's going on in at the owners' meetings.
Typically I don't go to that owners' meeting. There really hasn't been a lot that has come out of that in previous years, but I had to go to this one. Made the most sense because there's a new coaching staff, and obviously this is their first time talking since they've done what they've done in free agency, and then just getting a feel for where they're at with this Micah Parsons contract. So there was a lot of stuff there. And frankly, it's crazy just like how nice this place is in Palm Beach that they have this event at. Wow. Rooms at that hotel start at like $1,600 a night. I obviously wasn't staying there.
That's that Law Nation money. That's that Law Nation money.
Wait a minute.
Yeah. Beautiful place. It also, when I was there though, it made me think about it gave me a good laugh for when I just thought about all the people that'll, get mad at reporters and stuff about, you need to hold these guys accountable. And I'm just like, they don't live in our world. They don't care what we say, they really don't. They're going to do what they want to do. And that's clearly the case with the Jones family. Like they're going to run the Dallas Cowboys the way they want to run it. Keep in mind, even at a place that starts bare bones, $1,600 a night, the Joneses didn't even stay there. They stayed on Jerry's yacht. So, I mean, they're just wow. on a different level than a lot of these folks.
You said they didn't stay at the hotel. They stayed at his yacht.
Yeah.
They stayed at his yacht. Yeah. Boy.
Hey, that's why Jerry walked in holding his nads. Okay.
So, but anyway, I thought it was really good because we got Stephen Jones a couple times, Brian Schottenheimer there, talking to him on and off the record. And then the same thing, obviously, with Jerry. The thing with Jerry is that whenever he's in those situations, it's not just he's talking to us. It just a reporter from other team after another, they'll go up to him and ask him league-wide stuff just because he just doesn't really turn people away too much. And so I'll say this, anybody that, like when he didn't talk at the combine, I got some people saying that, well, maybe it's something health related. I don't get that sense at all. He seems the same Jerry Jones I've seen over the last 4 or 5 years. So the Micah Parsons thing I don't think it's even close, was the biggest thing to come out of that. Just the way he talked about the dealings with Micah directly, and then with not knowing who David Mulugheta is, which is just so ridiculous to even believe. But that was the biggest news maker, because not only do you not hear other owners, general managers talk like that, but Jerry talked it was almost 35 minutes. And during that time, it was like he wanted to talk about Micah Parsons in the contract, where it's like, that's on Tuesday. On Sunday, when we're talking to Stephen Jones, now there's less people. There's only like 3 of us talking to Stephen. And it just like he would answer some stuff, but he'd be quick to talk about how he's like, I don't want to get into that because that's more into negotiations and I don't want to share that. And it was just a great example of like, that's how things will be different when Steven's running the team. He'll still talk, he'll still be available, but that you won't get 35 minutes. That 35 minutes will be 10 minutes. And you're not asking follow-up questions on these answers if Jerry isn't giving this great length on all these things. Like he wanted to make it known that, you know, this thing should just be between me and Micah figuring it out. But that's just not how the NFL works. And that's not how it's going to get done. It's not going to get done with just, it's too big of a deal. He's not going to be able to just talk Micah into something, get him to sign on a paper and then go on with his way. That's just not going to happen. David Mulugheta is going to have to be involved. And so that's why I've always had apprehension about saying like, it's near, it's close, whatever. Like there's so much money and it's such a big deal that any little thing can throw it off. And I don't think there's any better example of how big of a deal it is and how important it is to Jerry for him to repeatedly say how he doesn't give his cell phone number out to very many people, but Micah's one of them. Like he's not going to do that if he doesn't understand how important this deal is, not just for Micah Parsons, but really now in the next 3-4 years for the Dallas Cowboys.
That's great stuff. I know AOC is ready to unleash. Before we kind of touch on that, because that's going to take up pretty much the whole show. Was there anything else, John, that came? I know we'll talk about Brian Schottenheimer tomorrow.
We're going to get to the Micah stuff. Yeah,
we'll draft and kind of like needs, but people want to know about this contract and they want to know about even the fact that they may not be done in free agency. What are you gathering from that?
Yeah, so it's free agency / possibly making another trade. As much as they want to say that they're ready to draft or, you know, fill in holes, I don't think that they feel 100% ready for the draft right now. I think they still want to fill another hole or two so that they can feel a little bit more comfortable going in the draft. And so not sure what that'll be. Not saying it'll be as big as, you know.
That's gonna be X-Master. It's gonna be X-Master. No. We ain't speaking on negativity to the
Well, you can word it that way. I don't know if it'll be an egg smasher or it'll be more like Kyer Elam, Kenneth Murray type, you know. But I feel talking to Steven and Jerry that they want to do a little bit more before the draft happens. So that's, you know, they got 3 weeks then to work some stuff out. And I understand what they're saying because you do not want to go into drafts. The Cowboys, and I'm sure it's the same for most teams, they just don't draft well when they're trying to specifically fill a need. And if you can fill a couple other areas, you'd feel a lot better. And those couple other areas that to me would stand out would be cornerback, wide receiver, running back. Those three in particular, there has to be more done there and everybody knows it. So if you could add something else at one of those spots, I think you'd feel a lot better going in the draft, not feeling like, well, we have to get a receiver at 12, we have to get a running back in the second round, and we have to get a corner in the second round, running back in the third. Now that could all work out, but you better have a backup plan in case it doesn't, so that you're not, because the problem you get into, if that's your mindset going in, you can do 1,000 mock drafts and it can set up 999 times exactly like that. And all it takes is one time for where it's like, damn, right before we were about to draft, somebody took this. I mean, anybody that's listening that's done fantasy football draft knows how this goes, where you're just like, oh yeah, I can wait. This guy will fall to me. And then not only does a person in front of you take them, but somebody trades up to take them. So that's why I don't think that they're quite done yet to get to where they want to be for draft, even with all the picks they have.
Bingo, about to launch in right here. They're not. They're absolutely not. And both parties told us that they're not. Stephen Jones and Brian Schottenheimer actually dropped a pretty huge breadcrumb as it pertains to what they were still trying to obtain, not only just by trading or whatever, but just what they wanted to do specifically before free agency. And I don't think people mixed it up. They got jumbled up in all the drama and stuff. People mixed up some of these quotes, man. Brian Schottenheimer did not say his best pick available in the draft. He said their goal for free agency was to do a good enough job to where they could do best pick available in the draft. That is a big difference. Then Shotty also did talk about the exact type of receiver that he wanted to add before the draft. He said, I want to add a number. And Steven said this actually. He said specifically, Brandon Cooks left. I would like to get us an explosive number 2 receiver. That not only lets me know that they know that Jalen Tolbert is not number 2, but they want to add probably 2 more receivers before this thing is all said and done. Probably 2 more. So Steven and Shotty let us know that receiver was something that they were 100% looking at. Steven actually said that they had some outstanding things out there, meaning that they're still probably in mid-negotiation with some guys and in contact with some guys right now. So they are absolutely about to supplement this thing, and I expect the Cowboys to plug up every perceived hole, like any hole that we can look at and be like, oh, they really need a corner. They really need a one tech. They really need another receiver. I think they're going to probably cover those 3 holes before the draft, so that way they're free to really do best pick available in the draft.
Well, it's a lot of work within 3 weeks here, so explosive wide receiver. I think you can only do that by now. Trade. I don't really see
why Steven keep talking
anybody
about
left on the market. Yeah, and I guess telegraphing what you're going to do before you do it is probably a good thing or a bad thing. I don't know, but we got 3 weeks in order to see whether or not any of these things can be validated. I am aware people did pull out the fact that last season Stephen Jones said, yeah, we will get you an interior defensive tackle, and we waited all off season, and it didn't happen until like the tip of the start of the preseason there. So I'm taking everything that they say tongue in cheek for right now. I'm just ready for the draft, man. I think you can still get that explosive wide receiver in this draft. And I think you still can get an explosive running back in this draft or a defensive tackle.
Well, I'll say this, and then let's touch on the Micah stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
But we'll save a lot of this for tomorrow.
But we're going to touch the Shotty stuff.
Yeah. I'll leave a cliffhanger here. And AOC, since our first episode, I've said corner is higher on the need list than we think. So if AOC is telling me we could trade for a receiver that's comparable, and now you can go, because the nation doesn't like Will Johnson for some reason. I love him. I know people like, and I don't want to get too far in the weeds, but I know people have Jahdae Barron, but I'm gonna tell you, you're not putting a 5'10" corner out there. The Cowboys don't operate in that world, and you know this, John. They have certain measurable. Yeah. They want to hit certain marks.
This new regime definitely ain't doing it, Foots. All the players they've gotten have been bigger guys. Like every player they've added so far in this new regime have been guys that, if you look at their position groups, is either average size or above average. Yeah. So they're not going small right now.
Yeah, and then AOC, we were texting, and he made a great point about Matthew Golden that I'll say for tomorrow. Everybody in the nation, I don't know if it's because they're Texas fans, have just said, Tet's not good at football anymore. Matthew Golden is the second coming of Jerry Rice. And it's like, hey, man, another smaller guy. The league is different. Like, it's not Texas, it's not Houston. And I went back and watched all his tape in Houston. But anyway, we're going to save a lot of this for tomorrow. It's going to be fun.
One thing I want to add on just what AOC said, I will say, I don't think that they will add 2 receivers. And the reason why is because.
Do you think one, John?
Aside from injury, if you tell me that all these guys are healthy, locks to make the roster, CeeDee Lamb, Jalen Tolbert, Kevontae Turpin, Jonathan Mingo.
Mm-hmm.
Locks.
Okay, now hold on. But before you do that, John, where the positioning? Because I'm gonna just tell you.
Break it down.
Yeah, because John, I don't want to hear about Jalen Tolbert in Dak's backyard. I'm done.
I'm about to say. I hope we talk about that, because the last person Dak stood up for is unemployed. So forget that, man. Stood up for Mike, man, and Mike is unemployed, man.
Well, but John, just being real, and even Shotty when he spoke, I mean, he speak. It's crazy that John starts some fires nationally, because we should be talking about the 30 minutes that Brian gave us. We can say for tomorrow, he gave us a great 30 minutes. It's like, instead, we're going to hit this Micah stuff, but it's like, bro.
And I can't wait to get into this.
I got to be honest with you. Like, even Brian, I'm listening to him, and he's like, Jalen Tolbert does some nice things, but you can hear that he also is saying,
he ain't convinced, man.
Yeah, you can hear that he's not convinced.
Well, he's not convinced.
But I hate to bust your bubble, though, but
he ain't no 2. And they don't see him as a 2.
He's not convinced, but he's definitely a 3.
Yeah.
I don't even know. John, why? Why is Jalen Tolbert a 3?
Because he
did have 7 touchdown catches last
year. There you go.
He did. We're not
going to act like he's Damn, I'm not going to do this because I don't want to throw somebody under. I have names. I'll text you guys later. But we're not doing that. He's not going to be into the team.
Hey, but John, but let me ask you this. I like this because I'm gonna tell you, I want a facelift in that room. Like,
Tobert ain't going nowhere. Let's be for real though. Tobert ain't going nowhere.
He's not going
do you
nowhere.
think that I'm saying that Mingo's not going anywhere because he's gonna like outplay everybody?
I think Mingo could play.
They traded a 4th round pick for him.
Yeah, Mingo.
Jerry will not
I
let
like
him be
Mingo.
off the building. It don't matter.
Team Mingo.
Me too. I think the problem with Tobert is, yes, he did have the 7 touchdowns, right? Broken plays. I don't think there was ever a play where you like,
he had a sprain. Wee.
Yeah.
He
caught the ball still.
He caught the ball with a sprain wee foot.
Yeah.
Hey,
I think
a dog.
But hey, listen, we knew. I was talking to somebody. It's like we knew year 2 how good Michael Gallup would be. Actually, you kind of knew year 1. Year 2, he had a 1,000-yard year. So I just think that I think he's a nice guy. He's gonna say all the right things. But if we're gonna punt on Mozzie, and everybody wants to punt on I don't. But if you're gonna punt on Mozzie, you probably should be punting. And they just told you. When have we ever heard Stephen Jones come out and say, like, be specific, receiver 2? Like,
right.
He said number 2 receiver.
Talk about that a lot.
He said number 2 receiver. Bro.
How much different is Jalen Tobert and Jalen Brooks? Both of the Jalens to me.
Brooks might as well.
Thank you, Law. Facts.
Yeah, exactly, Law. I agree.
Okay.
He won at 7 touchdowns in a season, though. I mean, there's that.
But John, hold on, John. No. Hold on. Time out. I'm not letting you get away.
That's opportunity.
John, because we
But you don't want to get into this with me. You just compared him to Mozzie Smith. 7 touchdowns is on a different stratosphere than anything Mozzie Smith has done. We're not going to do these comps. Not going to do it.
Hold on, wait. Hold on. Because now I got smoke with John. John, I do want to do this because you have a DC who tried to put this man on Jenny Craig, John. Why? Why would you put your 300-pound fat kid in? Oh, he can get upfield. We're not gonna do this, John. Let's get to Micah and the agent. So let's set the table here.
What's up?
John is interviewing Jerry Jones. I honestly took nothing from him saying this about David Mulugheta at all. But I know AOC has some high-level thoughts. So I want to let AOC, but just setting the floor, I thought that was the craziest thing. That I thought there were other clips that people could have taken that they took that he said he didn't know his name. AOC, how you feel, man?
Hey, man. You know what? No. It's better if they go first. It's better because no. It's better if they go first. They go. Law, you got it. Go ahead, Law.
John. You want to go? Well, I would say this. David Mulugheta. I saw where he was born and raised. And he grew up as a Cowboy fan in Dallas, right? And he's one of the most revered agents out there. You got a list full of good names of people, and he have more than one player that he represent on this team. I think Brandon Aubrey. He represents Brandon Aubrey, Damone Clark, Sam
Todd
Williams.
Friends got Brandon Aubrey.
Oh, Brandon Aubrey, Todd Friends got him?
Yeah.
Okay, but
I got thoughts on him too, but I'll say that as well.
Yeah. But athletes first, I meant to say, they got a lot of guys that's pretty much either working with David Mulugheta or athlete first, and they know how they rock and roll. And Jerry Jones, he may already have a deal done, and he just trying to stretch and pull this news out because there's no way in life that he don't know who David Mulugheta is. And I know he loves to negotiate deals by himself with the players, but, David is not going to allow that.
I don't think that Jerry likes all the publicity that David's been getting. I think that's one part of the reason why he said that is because, we are in an age now more than ever where everybody knows these agents' names. I mean,
escort these agents. My bad.
The biggest one for me is like in college football, like Jimmy Sexton represents all the big time coaches. And so if you follow college football, you know who Jimmy Sexton is. He has NFL clients too. Jason Witten was one of his clients. So, but these agents are more and more popular now than ever. And David Mulugheta is at the top of the list. I mean, some of the deals he's gotten done. I mean, you can't tell me of a better deal that an agent's gotten done than the Deshaun Watson deal. I mean, that's an incredible deal. Like nobody has gotten a better deal. You took
one of my points.
To get that deal for Deshaun Watson, and you got that all guaranteed. Why would you go into anything think that you couldn't get someone like Micah Parsons, if not all a big chunk of that money fully guaranteed, you know, and I'm sure that's what he wants. Where Jerry comes from on this, I believe, this is different than, let's say, Dak, because Dak, if he doesn't get it done, he can go to free agency. Jerry has the
hold on. Let me help AOC out. You got to tilt the head. You got to tilt the head all the way into the camera.
I was about to say, bro, I'm in the shower.
Get up. Tilt the head. Yeah, tilt the head. Now move back slow.
Trying to focus you.
Back. Yeah.
Okay.
Pause if necessary. Pause if necessary.
No, for real, don't talk about something. Tilt the head, move it back. All right, go ahead, John.
Jerry doesn't feel that same way that with the Dak thing, where it's like if you don't get him signed, he goes to free agency. Technically, Micah Parsons can't go anywhere for another 3 seasons. So although we sit there and the fans look at it as like, come on now, we know that he's getting paid. Jerry will look at it like, well, no, I mean, he's got a 5th year left on his rookie deal. And then if he doesn't want to sign a contract, I can franchise him next year. And if he doesn't want to sign a contract, I can franchise him the year after that. Now, you don't want to go down that road, but I think that's the businessman, Jerry, that, you know, he doesn't want anybody getting a deal over in on him. And I think that's been a problem for him. You know, I think that's why he doesn't get some of these big deals done right away, is because I do think it's a competitive thing with him where he wants to win the deal. And I just don't think that when you're a successful businessman, as you get older, that there's less of that in you. I think that you're more dug in than ever. And that's why I've always said that I didn't think this thing would get done before free agency. It's going to drag because of the dollar amount that's involved and the people that are involved making the deal.
It's going to drag because the agent sitting here trying to make, I'm going to take the high road ass statements talking about, I'm trying to create generational wealth for the Parsons like the Joneses have generational wealth, as if the difference between $40 and $45 million a season is going to be the difference between Micah Parsons' next generation being homeless or not. Miss me with the BS, David Mulugheta. I see what you're trying to do, bro. You're taking the high road. You're trying to, I'm a holy saint. I'm just trying to do what's best for the players. Yet you click on athletesfirst.net, the first thing you see is record-breaking contracts across the front of the page. Stop playing with me, Cowboys fans. At what point are we going to give the Joneses a chance to actually win one of these deals so y'all can actually call them a good front office? At what points are we going to give the Joneses a chance not to get bent over the table like they've constantly been getting bent over and have to see y'all talking about, Todd France owns the Cowboys. David Mulugheta owns the Cowboys. At what point does Jerry get to say, you know what? Nah, I don't have to play this card yet. Like my friend John Machota just said, Micah Parsons does have a 5th-year option available. And like no one else has discussed, there's not a single pass rusher coming up for pay in the next 2 seasons that's going to raise that pass rusher ceiling of pay enough.
Aiden Hutchinson could. But Aiden
Hutchinson. That's not going to raise it enough to bring up the average of the top 5 paid positions to make it more than the franchise tag would be. Right? So you got one guy. Aiden Hutchinson's the one guy that's on the horizon that you're like, okay, he can probably raise that to about 43.
Probably.
44,
Mike ain't had no season-ending injury either.
Right.
Mike has been he's been an all-pro since he's been in the league.
So, like John said, we absolutely could see, okay, play out your 5th-year option since your agent want to be Billy Badass, since your agent want to be St. Paul. Go ahead, play out this option real quick. I'm going to tag you next season. It's going to be less than the contract I would have gave you. I'm going to tag you the season after that. It's going to be less than the contract I would have gave you. Now, at this point, you're 3 seasons down the road. Hold on. Let's do some long-term viewing here, Mr. Agent. Go ahead. Because you need to make sure you're paying attention to this, Mr. Agent. Let's do some long-term viewing here. $23 million this season as opposed to getting paid whatever he would have got paid on that new extension with the signing bonus, et cetera, et cetera. Okay, you're missing out on potentially $18 million this season. Then you look at next season. You're missing out another probably $6 to $7 million that season, depending on what the franchise tag number would be. Then the season after that, another $5 to $6 million that you would have gotten. So over the life of that 3-year stretch where you playing these big boy games with the Joneses, you done lost almost $40 million in salary, bro. You can't get that back because you also lost 3 years of your life in the NFL.
Yeah, I get that.
Y'all hear me producing? Did y'all hear me producing?
That is a strong point by AOC, but just for me to play devil's advocate with this, it's up to the agent to point out the things in the contract or the languages of the contract that can sully the absolute player. Because I think that in Todd France, he was talking on that podcast on Athletes First about the guarantee clause that was in Dak Prescott contract. If he get fined in practice or something like that, he can lose some of his guaranteed money. So it's a crafty business. I get it from what David Mulugheta is looking at it from the aspect of making sure that Parsons is in the right direction, because every player, unfortunately, AOC, is a Ryan Shazier hit away. So he got to be able to make sure that he go over everything and make sure his client's getting paid the highest.
I get that, but F them agents, bro. Michael would be okay. Michael would be okay with Michael would be fine with the deal he would have got regardless, bro. He would be fine. Let's stop it, bro. Let's stop it.
Can y'all hear my applauses? I'm trying to.
When has Jerry ever screwed a star player on his contract as well?
Cooper Rush last year, he could have gave him a couple more throws.
I said star player, man. We already know they're going to pitch pennies on the pennies. You feel me? They're going to pitch pennies on the pennies, okay? Yeah. Star player. When have they treated a star player dirty?
I think he did Dez Bryant at the end like that, where he lost some money too. So I just don't know, man. It's an evil world we live in with these owners versus the players versus the agents, though.
Jerry got a reputation for being one of the best player owners in the league, bro. And we can't just take that away from him because a guy we like is having contract negotiations. And I'm gonna be honest, as a fan, bro, it is not my responsibility, or should I care about these millionaires negotiating the difference of millions.
But let me tell you this though, AOC. $6.5 million is a lot of money. Amari Cooper would never see that money again because he took $6.5 million less to stay here, and he had a deal on the table for the Washington team. So,
you know what Amari Cooper can also do off of that, though, Law? You just kind of froze.
Boys will trade you away when they don't see you of value anymore. Mm-hmm.
So you know what Amari Cooper can also do because he played with Dallas? He could come to Dallas anytime he want, get on anybody radio station, jump on anybody radio show, start a business, and he'll have support out here. He can do anything media-wise that he wants, do anything he wanted all. Jalen Smith got a whole-ass eye industry off of 2 years and one good season of football here, bro. So there's benefits to come. Bro, every former Dallas Cowboy player has a lifetime stream of income available to them if they're willing to utilize it. Once they play here. Let's be real. That's not the fact for Carolina players. They can't just go to ESPN and say, I played for the Cowboys. I want a job. And be like Marcus Spears and sit up there and act like he was a better player than was a good player. But come on, man. Come on. Hold on. Good player.
Listen,
good player. But
I'm not taking no shots. I'm not taking no shots, but it's a dude who, got his let me shut up. All I'm gonna say is, with this Cowboys Collective, we don't pull no punches. It's a dude who he got a roster spot off of a reality TV show, thinking by Jerry Jones.
And one of the main people, and I'm going to get into it, man, because one of the main sources of people trying to encourage folks to trash their team in favor of an agent, bro. Like, now we mad at the Joneses over agents?
So John, what's your thought, John? What's your thought, John?
No. Let me go before John. I gotta get this off my chest. Because AOC, he set the table, and I'm with
Big
AOC.
Sarge, you don't know what the hell you talking about. Ain't no haggling. The Joneses offered the dude something he likes. Ain't no haggling. Shut up. You don't know what you're talking about, Big Sarge. You've been sitting there typing with your meat eaters the whole show and don't know what you're talking about, man.
So here's the thing. AOC set a great table, and I gotta agree with him. So first of all, one, I didn't care that much. This is what bothers me about our fan base. Anybody listening to this show is a true diehard Cowboys fan. And there's enough good content creators. I'll give you an example. I hate to keep singing John's praises, but John just puts the information out there. He doesn't get cuddly. He's a dog. He doesn't get cuddly and start putting his emotions. Oh my God! Why aren't we respecting David Mulugheta?
Information and y'all do what you want with it.
Why David Mulugheta is one of the best. And what do we? He don't
give a damn about that.
He don't rush a passer. Let me look in the camera.
He ain't got no star on his
I was
helmet.
about to say, ask Cleveland fans how they feel about David Mulugheta. Completely fleeced their organization for a dude who was at a massage parlor. Well, yeah, we want to make sure that he's fine. Oh yeah, did David Mulugheta know when he was going to the table that Deshaun Watson that he was at every massage parlor getting his feet touched, getting every. So at the end of the day,
talk about hey, you want to touch it?
Allegedly.
He's serial. Him and Justin Tucker, wild boys.
Want to touch it?
Here's my thing though. In all seriousness, I didn't understand national media picking it up and the incompetence of Jerry Jones. How? If Jerry can say what he want. The league is where it is because a lot of the things that Jerry Jones has done. Now, people going to look at me, AOC, here we go. These guys protecting the organization. No, we're not. But that was nothing to say, oh, man. If you want to get mad at Jerry Jones for something, get mad for him staying with Mike McCarthy too long or get mad with him, but look, prime example, John. Todd France.
I got an example. Go on.
Hold on. We going. Let's fight. But why? Let me ask you this, John. Why is Athletes First and Todd France? They have 300 views on their interview. You put the Cowboys in it. The Cowboys beat reporters start putting out this information about Dak's contract. So what? I don't care. I don't.
Last year,
and
stuff we already know. We know the deal got done late at the last minute.
It's historical data. Come on, man.
No, it was law, but this is my point. Yeah. Why does it matter? Why does it matter now? It matters because they want to bash Jerry.
Yeah, you want to bash Jerry to get a little.
That's why it matters, bro.
But you also want to know that, hey, is this a known pattern that this is going to be consistently? Because Micah Parsons already said that he's willing to get paid for dog water. I get it.
He shouldn't have said that. His agent,
and he was capping. Or he was
John credit. John didn't say I don't believe him.
Yeah. The best deal goes when nobody knows about the deal. That's when the best deal is landed. But when everybody start hearing into the news of the deals, then it gets the water gets a little bit murky. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah, you got David Mulugheta is kind of in a interesting spot here because the two people involved in this are two people that say a lot of stuff. So you can take things for whatever way you want. It doesn't mean it's any closer. No, when I said to you about Foots, I said I wanted to share something. It's because of what you said earlier about how that made all the headlines. And the reason why I think that's so funny and such a Cowboys thing is because I'm out there. And I just got back to Dallas like late last night. And so this morning when I woke up, I was looking at some stories. And I don't know if you guys have seen this, but
it's laughable.
Have you seen any of the stuff that the executive vice president, I think her name's Katie Blackburn, said about Trey Hendrickson and his contract situation?
Nothing. It picked up nothing.
My God, I was like, why isn't this top of the line? Like,
John,
I was just about to bring that up, John. John
is goated, man. I got to give him. Bro, you didn't hear what she said.
Like it's just the Joneses, bro.
She said
the owners are moving towards doing this.
She said, quote, it is on him to be happy at some point. He should be happy at certain rates that maybe he doesn't think he'd be happy at, to the point where Trey Hendrickson today went on the Pat McAfee show and said that I thought it was an April Fool's joke when I saw those quotes.
I saw that.
I couldn't believe that because they haven't had a lot of contact between them and the team. And also, I use them as an example because it's not like the Bengals have been known for doing the best deal. Now, I know they just got both the receivers signed, but they've been one that they're not really on the forefront of getting deals signed. When I saw that, I'm like, man, I can't believe that's not making bigger news. But that's obviously the difference between the Cowboys, Jerry Jones, and the Cincinnati Bengals and Trey Hendrickson. So I knew, but when Jerry said this stuff about not knowing his name, I knew he took it to a level where I'm like, well, this is going to be the biggest thing to come out of this, because I've heard Jerry say that about other agents. I just can't remember necessarily if all the times that he's said it has been on and off the record. So I'm not going to share the exact agents he was talking about, but I've heard him say before, like, I wouldn't know who that guy was if he walked in here right now. And it's prominent agents. It's not like it's nobody or like a guy that just has, some undrafted rookie free agent. That's kind of like it's a tactic of Jerry's, because it's just like if you're, I don't know if you guys, when you're playing sports or whatever, like the best thing you can say to somebody else is if someone's talking to you about your game or something like that, the best thing you can say back to them is, I don't even know who you are. Like
Right.
you can't top that. You cannot top that. If that person starts talking to you first, the best thing to come back and say is like, I don't know who you are. Like who are you as a player? Like when you see players when they're talking to each other, and then the guy will like look back at the back of his jersey, like I don't know what player you are. Like you can't top that. You can't win that. And I felt like that's what Jerry was trying to do, is like, let's not forget who I am. Like Jerry's not going to come out and say he's more powerful than Roger Goodell, but I'm sure in his mind he feels that way. And the last thing he wants to know is about a bunch of agents that are getting popular. Like he does not like that at all, that everybody is talking about. Like,
right.
Like
it's weird.
Myself,
it's weird.
About,
bro.
like David Mulugheta's not going to take a deal. Like he doesn't like hearing that, because he's the one that's supposed to win all these deals. He's supposed to be the best businessman out there. And so I think that there's a little bit of a pride thing there, because from the very first question he answered about Micah, including several follow-ups where in most cases, people would be like, I answered that earlier, I'm not getting into that. He wanted to get into it. He wanted to get that back and forth. And to be honest with you, he has more leverage in that some of the stuff he said. Not that I think he went too far with not knowing his name. That was a little ridiculous to me. But up to that point, he does have some leg to stand on, because this agent's client is met with Jerry 5 or 6 times. So it's not like it's one of these clients that they're like, no, leave this up to my agent. I'm not talking with you about this. Like the player clearly wants to talk to Jerry and has talked to him several times. I mean, even before that happened. So that was on Tuesday that Jerry talked to us. When I got there on Sunday around noon, that's right when we got Stephen Jones. And he's the one that said at that point, he didn't really want to comment very much on anything that Micah's contract or anything like that. But I mentioned to him about how just recently at the Zach Martin press conference, how him and Jerry noted how they talked to Zach more than they ever talked to Zach's agent. I go, is there something similar with Micah? And he even said how he's like, at the end of his answer, he goes, but Micah likes to talk. And that's a good thing. Like he was very open to the idea that, no, Micah wants to be involved in these negotiations. Right. He wants to talk to us. It's not like, because I just think that some people like behind the scenes probably think that like Jerry's trying to trick Micah into like, hey, I'm going to go down to that area basically that's behind AOC right now in his background, and I'm going to try and talk Micah into doing some type of like shady deal. And it's not like Micah wants to talk to Jerry about this stuff. That's why I remember Micah was talking about like, yeah, I'm going to sit with Jerry
that's why.
Cotton Bowl.
John, that's why I think that the deal is already pretty much done. You just got to do some languages checks, because you don't talk to a man. I bet you the guarantees are a big thing. I bet you the guarantees are a big thing in it. That's because I bet you I can agree with you on that. I can see the parameters of like a 4 or 5 year at around 40, but I bet you the guarantees are going to be the tough spot, because when you have a guy like David who has negotiated a contract like Deshaun Watson at a franchise quarterback, he is going to want to try and get a ton of guarantees, especially for a player like Micah who he plays a position, very physical. He's had injuries this past year. You want to get as much guaranteed money as you possibly can for your client.
Let me say this before I let you go, AOC. Bet US TV. I'm gonna say this: Philly just won the Super Bowl. Nobody's talking about them.
Right.
The Commanders, they broke their streak.
They're talking about the Eagles, but it's for the tush push.
For the tush push. They're not talking about them for football. I said this to a Philly fan. I was like, you guys literally had the most boringest Super Bowl run. It's been like nobody even cares. The Commanders, they're hot. We think you don't know what's going to happen with the Giants and how they draft, but I think that I would take these odds for sure, and I know you guys probably would as well. But when it comes
on that plus 3,000, is that the one you wanted?
Yeah, I would take those.
The plus
no. I'm taking plus 700 for sure to win these. Yeah, I'm
plus
taking
3,000. Russell Wilson.
Yeah, right. Russell throwing air balls all game. That's all he throws.
I'm taking the Cowboys. I'm taking the Cowboys.
I'm Homer. You're gonna have to kill me.
Hey, Cowboys.
But John, let me ask you this. And I think AOC was about to go. But before you go, I gotta ask you this, John. When you see some of this stuff, it's just minutia. It's so far gone in the woods. Do you think our fan base is like I don't know what's like that is nothing to be. We had reporters writing think pieces about David Mulugheta.
Do y'all realize what we talking about right now? Do you like before John even go? Do y'all realize what we talking about right now? We are being the biggest hypocrites as an entire fan base right now. You want to know why? Because we are literally mad at Jerry Jones because he's trying to fight for the very security that the owners and teams have to ensure that they don't do bad deals. The guaranteed money. all the different little triggers in the contracts and stuff. That's the stuff that protects teams from being able to look at them and be like, damn, that's a really bad deal, like the Deshaun Watson deal. So why shouldn't he be able to fight to be able to, you know what, man? I'm not about to just roll over and give you every single thing you want. Sure, I'm going to make sure your client is paid appropriately and you got everything. But we have to, as a team, we have to have some protections to be able to, if this player doesn't pan out the way that we think he should be pan out, we have to have some protections in place to where this doesn't devastate our franchise. Because that's really what we're having a discussion about, right? In one breath, we criticize the Joneses for how they do business and the type of deals that they do. Mm-hmm. And we talking about the Dak contract and Todd France talking about the language in the Dak contract and stuff. And yes, Todd France got over on Jerry. Why should we want Jerry to continue to have to do those type of deals? So where if Dak goes out and hurts himself next year, guess what? You aren't protected. You have to pay Dak Prescott. And now guess what? Your franchise is in a hole, a serious hole. So why are we mad as fans for him as a GM trying to do what a GM should do and actually get deals that protects his franchise?
I get that to a certain extent, but like even if he let's say they got a deal with Dak and say he took 54, 55 or something, let's say he took the Josh Allen contract. I mean, they're still in a hole even if he gets hurt. You know what I'm saying? Like, so that's the only part I disagree with. Like,
less of a hole.
All these guys, if you lose one of these guys, your team, I mean, the Eagles won the Super Bowl because they stayed extremely healthy. That was the difference between them and teams like the Niners and the Lions and several others. So,
Trevon Diggs' contract right now is an albatross hanging over the Cowboys organization head.
Yeah,
that's the type of situation I'm talking about.
No, where you have a guy that the fans that are frustrated, it comes from the fact of that it took so long and it dragged out with Zeke and with Dak and with CD, and they just feel like this is going to be another one where that's the case, and so that's why they get frustrated. But I also think that
why shouldn't it?
If they won more in January, I think that people would be able to look past it, but it's like you're dealing with all this drama and you're not having the success on the field. And so that's where the frustration sets in. And they do factor in more than just last year and the last 5 years. Most fans do factor in the last 29 years. And Jerry is the common theme in those 29 years. And so I do get where some fans are coming from, but I also think that it's just bigger because the Dallas Cowboys have the biggest fan base. And there's so many people that, I mean, props to the NFL for doing this, but I mean, like if I didn't love my job, I'd be out because the way that they've structured this, we only really get June where there's even a little bit of time to decompress. Like they've structured this thing perfectly to have like what just happened these last 3 days. Like we're talking about league meetings, an off-season league meeting, but they do such a good job of like, okay, no, don't put it that week. Let's put it right in between. Right in between the combine and the draft. Come on. Yes, perfect. Well, what about when the draft's over? What will we do? I don't know, give everybody access to these OTAs and minicamp. And that's why I do think that it's going to come to a point where they're like, yeah, just come down to the Star for the 30 visits and you can just interview all these players. Like, because they want that news cycle to never stop in the NFL, and they're doing a great job with it. And who's your biggest brand in the NFL? It's the Cowboys. And so that's why a lot of this stuff. And Jerry feeds into that.
Go ahead, go ahead, Law. Yeah, no,
feeding into that than Jerry is.
If Jerry brilliant, right? There's no way possible that this deal is not done because he spent 5 or 6 hours with a guy,
Yeah.
So while Micah talking about no deal's going to get no backdoor deals done
WWE, WWF, whatever the wrestling things is. Exactly. I just feel that. Yeah, I know. Because, can you imagine going 5 hours speaking with Jerry
and not having something done? Yeah, come on.
And not having anything done, no inside information.
But I got. Please let me respond real quick.
6 hours, that's a long time.
My guy in the live chat, man. This ain't to none of y'all. Y'all cooking. All three of y'all cooking. Y'all look great too. Hey, man. Ben Bono, he said, quote, trying to protect the team. This dude is laughable. I'm a fucking Cowboys fan, you fucking idiot.
You might get called out on this podcast. Now I'm gonna say this, right?
Yeah. Go ahead.
It's
the Dallas Mulugheta.
It really is alarming. It really is alarming to me that we have a head coach that spoke some good stuff. I mean, some of the stuff that Shotty talked about can make 3-4 shows. And like I said, John so that's why I've always took to Todd Archer. I think Todd gives you the information. Mm-hmm. You do what you want with it. He's going to give you a realistic view of it. I just did not like the posturing for why would we disrespect an agent? I love that Jerry said, Jerry, if you really listen, see people, and right after he said that, he said, hey, I mean no but disrespect by this, but that's not gonna get clipped, right? Stop me if I'm wrong, John. He definitely said, seriously, I don't know. And maybe he does. Who cares? It's not that big of a deal. But he also said, I mean, no disrespect. Man.
He was trying to flex.
But guess what, John?
And
guess
it's
what?
true with the agents flexing.
I was just about to say, John.
Look at David Mulligheta's Twitter account. It's all the deals he done closed.
Hey, John.
That's how you get more business.
Hold on. Let me finish, guys. Let me finish. I'm gonna tell you this, guys. He does that because he can. Jerry has done something. Everybody's gonna say 30 years, blah blah blah. And I'm not saying blah blah blah, John, because I know you said 30 years. He's been but what about the contracts that he's
on that? Like,
wait, hold on, wait, but John, what about the contracts? What about everybody say we should have got things
civil
done
rights
early.
Movement that came in the chat.
Remember we got Terrence Steele done, right? Remember that, right? Now half the team wants to do what? I was about to say get rid of Malcolm X. Get rid of Terrence.
Wait a minute. Now, hold on.
My point is,
yes, get rid of Malcolm X.
My point is, what are people talking about? Oh, Jerry, the white guy, black. Stop it. Like, AOC is 100% right. Dog, Jerry has done more for black players. He's done more for black players than
victim stuff.
Yeah.
All right. Marching down Martin Luther all the time.
Yeah. Here's what I'm looking
at.
And
look, AOC light skin. I'm dark skin saying that. So
wait
a minute.
I'm in the house and I'm saying that. Hey,
wait a minute.
He said I'm in the house. John, that didn't go over your head, did it?
We're going off the rails.
I'm trying to not acknowledge any of it. Just keep going.
Hey, John trying to be he's doing a stale face challenge. He's like, I don't want to get canceled.
Hey, John, my dog, man.
I don't want to get canceled. I can't laugh at any of these kind of jokes. Don't go over well.
Come on, man. but at the end of the day, the deal going to get done. That's the thing. It's going to get done, and John can contest to that because they do this long drawn out thing. And a smoking pony. Was it smoking pony show?
Dog and pony.
Yeah, dog and pony show. Smoking mirrors is the other part, right? Smoking mirror, dog and pony show, and then they end up getting signed on a good day, whether it's the first day of the football season, first day of the draft, or right after the draft. It's going to be on a grandiose day when the Cowboys get this deal done with Micah Parsons.
Wade in the water.
You mentioned about it getting done eventually, and I obviously agree with you on that. But something we haven't talked about that is pretty clear from what Jerry was talking about on Tuesday is that when it does get done, they don't want the same Micah Parsons the last 4 years. They clearly want more, and that's in terms of the leadership side. And so if this thing drags out, now I will say, Brian Schottenheimer also said that from what he has been told that Micah's going to get everything. And I thought that was interesting as well. But that is one of those big things that comes with this, that Jerry, Steven, the front office, they're going to want more leadership from Micah. They're going to want him to take on a bigger role in that area. So it's not going to be exactly the same as the first four. But the thing is how do you can't guarantee that, you need it, because here's the thing, not every player wants to be a leader. A lot of guys want to go out there, ball. And if they do their job, hey, I did my part to help win. I dominated out there. But even when you start getting paid on that level, even if you don't really, that's not in you naturally, you got to kind of force it out of yourself. You have to take on more of that type of a role, because not only are you the leader on the field because of your production, but now you're getting this huge contract. Like, players are looking at you like, I don't know why we all have to do that. Micah doesn't do that. Like, he doesn't care about this part of the practice. We don't have to really worry about that. And so there has to be, that's going to be a big part of this as well, is that they want that more of that leadership thing there. And I do think that it's all set up for him to do that. He's clearly the face of the defense.
Yeah. I want to speak to something real quick, and then I'll let y'all go. I think maturity comes with age, and So with Micah, I remember this time last year, everybody was saying he wasn't a good leader. There was very loud voices in our community calling Mike out, right?
The same one who tried to call Dak out, by the way.
Yep, just very loud voices. I'm not going to give that person any airtime, but I just thought it was very low because you try to compare the guy to Luke Kuechly when they didn't even play the same position. This was the whole off-ball DN a conversation. I never remember it, John, and it was just like, well, Eberflus isn't going to play him at off-ball linebacker. Zimmer didn't play him at off-ball linebacker. Dan Quinn put him on the edge, but Micah's not a good leader because he couldn't play off-ball. Stop it! You guys want this guy to be Superman when he's already been, when this guy's already been a multi-time All-Pro. So again, what bothers me, John, is that we don't let a guy develop all the way. Like Micah. Let me say this. If Micah was doing some of the things that Zeke was doing, I would be like, I'm scared. Dog, Micah, he wants to podcast. That's like saying a kid wants, that's like Travis Hunter, he likes to play Call of Duty or whatever it is. And that's not a bad thing. I would be worried if, I'll never forget when Zeke had gotten that thing with that girl and they was out at the circus and they were drunk. And I'm like, this ain't good because he's not taking care of himself. He getting sloppy, and before you know it, Zeke can completely fall off. So that's my little rant on it. I think Micah will develop into it. Micah wants to win. Like, dog, Micah was hurt and came back trying to beat. What was the game we lost on special teams? Cincinnati, the Commanders. Micah wants to win. I don't know if he's going to be the rah-rah, get on top of the stage and talk every game, but he wants to win. That's leadership enough, in my opinion. So that's kind of like, I don't get where first of all, he deserves the money. They should probably ask him to change a little bit, maybe, but I don't think the podcasting thing is a deal breaker because guess what? Travis Hunter's going to come into the league. He's not ending his podcast or his whatever it is he says on his live streams when he plays his game. That's all he does.
Right.
It's a new era in the NFL.
New era. Brock Hoffman got a podcast too, and I get it. I would say this with the new contract. I think that Jerry may have some incentives in that, to give him sweeten the pot.
I also would say this real quick on the podcast thing. If he's on the podcast and he's talking like what I said earlier, the difference between Jerry Jones and Stephen Jones. If he's on the podcast talking like Stephen Jones, then it's not a problem. But it's when he gets on the podcast and he talks like Jerry Jones. That's when you start saying things about the team and stuff like that, and about where it can be taken to where it's like, man, that certainly sounded like he was undermining the coaching staff there. So you got to just maybe not share everything. And I think that might be a part of it, but I don't think the podcast is a big deal at all.
Yeah, I don't think the podcast.
And I don't think it is.
Either.
And when I say that, I don't mean necessarily just me. I'm talking like I don't get the sense. I have never been told by anybody within the organization that the podcast is something like this is a deal breaker. Like we need to get this thing stopped, or we need to start going in another direction or something. That isn't it. It's just being like you have to be like like a DeMarcus Ware. You have to be a leader at all times, like the guy that somebody looks to at all times. Whatever, the 100th rep in practice or at a team meeting, and being on time to stuff and all these like little things that like it's not one little thing, but it's just like being a guy that they look to, and I certainly think he can do that. But I got the sense that Jerry talking, he really wanted that to be part of whatever he's going to sign going forward.
Yeah, and so I just think that as we close, we've all said that the deal is done. We feel like it is. I just thought that was interesting. Now, with these last 5 minutes, I actually wanted you guys tell me what trade or what type of move would you make, what caliber of player, whether it's a receiver, whether it's corner. Do you guys have a name that you guys want to talk about that we could possibly get before free agency? And a little bit of breaking news. This is probably deep in the weeds, but James Cook, they're saying that he put his house up for sale with the Bills. I know he wants a new deal out there in Buffalo.
Bills ain't trying to pay, buddy.
Yeah. So, and to be fair, AOC, they're cash strapped because they're still paying Diggs. So but anyway, is there a name, guys?
Go ahead.
To me, I'll say Asante Samuel. He's the guy that I've been circling on my board here. If we can get him, it's almost damn near. I'm not gonna say egg worthy, but shoot it. I probably
it's egg worthy.
That's
I'd probably do
egg-worthy.
half of an egg. Yeah. Okay, egg. I'm doing egg.
Samuels is good. Samuels is
Look
good.
at John.
You guys,
Joe
man.
Milton is a good name, Carlos.
You gotta raise. You gotta
Joe
raise
Milton's
our
a good name.
Hold on, let me try to read John's mind. I'm about to say,
expectations.
read John's mind real quick. Y'all gotta raise your expectations. Y'all gotta raise your standards a little bit.
This
guys.
bar that you guys are just walking under. We're not even trying to go over the bar anymore. Just walk under the bar.
But let me ask you this, John. Who did you got? Deion Sanders or Asante Samuel Sr.? You know.
Oh, that's been a mess.
Have you seen that? Have you seen that fight?
I have. It's
Mhm.
crazy, Law. They've been going at it
Crazy.
back and forth. Yeah.
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 What about I don't have a name, but I will
Uh-huh.
say I think it'll be really hard to trade for a notable player before the draft because whatever team you trade with is going to want picks,
Mhm.
and this is the time of year where those picks are more valuable than anything, you know. And so it's like, you know, yeah, I could see the Cowboys parting with it. A day 3 pick. I can't see them moving a first, second, third rounder. I really, really feel like they're trying to target a running back with one of those picks, a wide receiver, and probably a corner. So, I mean, if you do make a trade for one of those guys, I guess it fills one of those holes. But I'd be very surprised if they traded one of those top 3 picks, or one of those first 3 round picks for an established player. I also think if that was going to happen, that would have been done already.
We'll see.
I mean, I'm throw the same 2 names out there I've been sticking with, man. Cortland Sutton, Jair Alexander. My 2 names, man.
I thought you want Garrett Wilson.
I'm about to say Garrett
Jair
Wilson.
Alexander.
I'm about to say
That's
Garrett Wilson
egg.
is up
That's
there
egg.
too.
Is that an
Yeah.
egg worthy, John?
Garrett
John,
That
that's
is,
egg.
yeah.
I'm about to say,
Jair
if that ain't,
Alexander's
I'm about to say, if
good,
that ain't egg worthy, we cancel the bet at this point because I can't win.
That'd be wild.
Yeah,
I'd be
that
surprised
would
by
be,
that.
that would be wild. But
Yeah.
that would be a very interesting trade, though. But yeah, I mean, Cortland Sutton, Garrett Wilson, or Jair Alexander type, somebody like that. I mean, I'm perfectly fine with something like that.
I think the Sutton one, I think I'd go as far as giving up a 2 for Sutton. Sutton's good, man. He's had bad quarterback play. We gotta factor some of that stuff in too. Dak's still in his prime, very accurate, big body. You know, Phil Yates gave us Ted McMillan. We have not had a big body that can move since T.O. Just haven't had that archetype.
Mm.
And you got CD, like everything that people were talking about with explosive and all this, you got that in CD. But you don't have that big body red zone presence that could climb the ladder. Sutherland can do that. That can constantly beat press coverage, John. I think everybody, we want speed. Man, give me a possession guy, man, that can catch the ball consistently. Haven't had it.
Y'all see we be converting haters in the chat. Y'all see that? My man, Big Sarge, I went off on him earlier. He like, good show, guys. Appreciate you, Big Sarge.
You're not getting, listen, I like Santos. Santos said it's the best podcast he ever heard. And guess what? You're not getting none of this nowhere else because the one
You
thing
gotta
that
pay us a lot of money. No, I'm just playing.
the one thing that John don't do is he not getting on the stand crying, oh my God, these agents died for my sins. They're such respected guys. We don't care about the agents, AOC.
We don't care, man. We don't care. We Cowboys fans, the Dallas Cowboys, not the Dallas Mulugheta, not the Dallas Francis, not the Dallas athletes first. And if the athletes are first in their agency, then who the hell cares about the fans? Only yourself. Care about the fans, brother. Care about yourself, man.
My guy John, I know you said you
John,
gotta go.
John, I know you got to roll. I got to go. So you got anything, Law?
We all gotta go.
No, I just want to say, man, this is a slam dunk show, man. I appreciate everybody, man. I can't wait to see what more news that John is gonna spit upon. Y'all be sure to check him out on Twitter because I mean he got breaking.
Yeah, John been
details.
rolling, man.
Yes.
Hey, John. Hey, appreciate you for paying some bills this week, brother. Because I've been on it. I've been on it. Hey, I've been on it.
And John, we love when you do the videos too. By the way.
Yeah,
No,
amazing.
No, stop.
Copyright.
Listen. I'll represent you, John. Don't worry about it. Hey, guys, much love to y'all. We got to roll. Cowboys Collective. We will see y'all tomorrow. Different time. We'll have that posted. Make sure you guys check in. And remember, Law,
You're listening to nothing but the Cowboys Collective, the best. Let's get it.
much love, y'all. Peace.
Appreciate y'all.
All right, y'all.